And of course, not all women are like that. There's a lot of women who are more mature and not like the regular brain dead, unreflective girls who are able to deal with their emotional mind states and control them. Like yesterday, the queen was training. I made her train with Caleb, who was a small boy, and the girls all think they don't, when they see him, they don't see an imposing man. They just think, okay, there's a kid, and he's not really. They don't see an imposing masculine person, which they're awed by. They just see him as like a skinny boy. But he, even a skinny boy like that just demolishes the girls. I mean, even though they're like that, all the girls are like, wow, the queen's so strong and the emo's so strong. I mean, these little boys just wipe the floor with them. That's how different males and females are. Wipe the floor. And the queen yesterday was training with Caleb because she has to start training with boys more. I'm making her do that so that she gets used to the male's explosive energy. And she just said she was just like literally overwhelmed. I mean, just overwhelmed. But if you ask any of the boys that have to train with Caleb, they're like, no, that's normal. He had a shin up on her neck, smashing her neck and, just dominating her. And she was just she had to literally fight for her life just to stay alive. And of course, she got submitted 3 times, just got utterly demolished. And the girls are there watching, and it's a good reality check for them. Because you have all the new girls that, they worship, the more advanced girls who can just kill them and wipe the floor with them. But then they see them getting wiped the floor with these skinny little wimp boys that they think are just wimps and they totally ignore and they don't think are strong. But that's why girls are so deluded. They're so deluded unless they actually do real fighting. They're really deluded in terms of strength. So they'll respect somebody who's 220 pounds and looks big and strong, but they won't respect a small boy who is trained. That's a big delusion. So when they experience, like she was, actually emotionally, she was very devastated yesterday. And for hours after training with Caleb, she was still emotionally down. And I understand. Because of that. And so the king had to counsel her and drink tea with her and counsel her. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not used to dealing with their emotions, confronting them and fighting them like that, unless they, of course, do that kind of training. If they do this training, then, of course, they're going to learn how to deal with their emotions and not get emotional and let the emotions control them. And that, of course, helps them parent their children and gain respect from their sons and other men who have to basically, they don't live by emotions. Men are trained very early on to kill your emotions. But the girls are taught that that's bad. Don't kill your emotions. You got to always be emotional and feel, and you have to understand your other girlfriend's emotions. Whereas men, you're not taught to do that. You're taught that emotions are dangerous. Emotions are deleterious. Emotions cloud your vision, which is true. That's simply true. It's simply true. So when girls actually do the real arts which break delusion, they have to learn to not be emotional. So when you see girls that are much tougher, like warrior arts, girls that are purple belt level, some of that, they're super tough. Doesn't mean they don't get emotion. They still have a different wired brain. But they've now created so many neural pathways that are able to stop that between stimulus and response, to stop those emotional reactions, and they can react much stronger. Of course, at that stage, they've trained with men, they beat up men. And at purple belt level, no instructor is going to promote you to purple belt unless you're able to beat up men and to submit men who are literally trying to fight for their lives. And they have way more, 2-3 times more explosive power set up, but you still have to deal with that with technique. And so they're totally different animal. Those kind of girls and the girls that are just brain dead lunatics that are brainwashed by school and are debt slaves and watch MTV and are in complete delusional land. I mean, they're just in such a delusional world. They think they can go up to a guy and just start cussing them. F you, F you, F you, and start slapping them. And then they're going to be shocked when they get hit back. Try going to do that in a Muslim country. You're going to get your head cut off. You know what I mean? But it's so interesting how girls will mushy. Mushy means like totally like blow off, disrespect and disregard guys who are like gentlemen and they're nice, and they actually think that those men are not powerful. When if that kind of man, like they'll see some kind of overweight kind of fatter guy, and they'll just think that guy is such a waste. They'll just totally blow him off. They have no idea how strong fat people can be, fat guys can be. Absolutely no idea. Unless, of course, they train real fighting where they have to fight fat guys. They realize even fat guys have tremendous strength. Tremendous strength. Some of the strongest power lifters and like strongmen, in this competition, they're just like these fat blobs. Obviously, they're not like the social justice warrior fat blobs. They look big. I mean, they're clearly big and strong. But you would never imagine they can lift 3,000 pounds or something like that. You would never imagine that. I mean, they just look like an overweight fat guy. But the amount of power they have is ridiculous. So men, because if we challenge people like that, you get beat up in the men's world. You learn very quickly that you should not judge somebody just because they're fat. But girls never learn that. Because they don't get beat, they don't get that ashtray beat up if they challenge somebody. Mm-hmm. They're in this delusional little fake little nice world.